All right, it's Thursday night, y'all. Silver Fox Fitness Club. I'm here with my co-host, Miss Yvette Smith. How you doing, Miss Yvette?
Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I see you looking all good today.
Well, thank you.
Oh
Thank
man,
you.
that's good. That's good. Well, folks, it's Thursday, episode 12. Man, we rocking and rolling every
Well,
Thursday.
wow.
Episode 12. Every Thursday night at 9 o'clock, we have a live show. And we have a guest. Hey man, y'all about to get a lot of information today, man.
Yes.
This brother here is like, man, he's like Superman of nutrition. This is Mr. Jearld Prelow. How you doing, sir?
Fine, sir. How you doing?
Doing great, doing
Hey,
great, man.
Gerald.
Hey, thank
Yeah,
y'all for having me.
yeah. So I'm out here in Atlanta, Georgia. Miss Yvette is out there in Katy, Texas. That's the suburbs, I guess the city outside of Houston, Texas. And my boy Jearld, you up what in Dallas?
Yes, sir.
In Dallas,
Dallas.
Texas. Yeah. So we all Texas folks.
Yep.
Although I live in Atlanta, we all Texas folks.
That's right.
So Jearld, before we get started, tell us about you, man. Tell us who is Jearld Prelow, man. Who is he?
Well, Jearld Prelow is my name, the name I was given by my parents, Josias and Julienne Prelow. But the name of my company is Jearld, Jewells. It's named after my mother, who passed December the 21st, 2014. Uh,
Mhm.
so every day I call her name Jules or say it in any kind of way when I'm giving a presentation, I know I have a purpose that
Mhm.
why I'm out here, So she passed, unfortunately, eating habits, overweight, too many prescription medicines. She had uh, a lot of different ailments that
Mhm.
obesity, that went with the obesity, high blood pressure, the diabetes, the poor eating habit. So even though I know what little I know, um, but you can't tell grown folks what to do, even though they're your parents, especially somebody that you love. So, but anyway, I said, well, it's a tribute. Let me just devote the rest of my life that I have left to nutrition and talking to folks and showing folks how you can do it without breaking the bank and just study. Just study, 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 study. So since 2015, 16, I started the company and I've been rolling ever since.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow,
Mm.
wow, that's good, man. That's good.
Thank
So you said your mom was taking a lot of medication. I mean, what she? I know my grandparents, they took a lot of medication. I remember before my grandfather passed, every morning, man, he would have a table full of medication he would be taking with milk. And
Mm.
I'm like, man, I mean, it was so much. I mean, no lie, I know he had to have about at least 6 or 7 different type of medications. So that's something that I don't want to have to do, you
right,
know.
right.
So wow.
She was
Okay.
on 21 medications when she passed. And I'm going to
Oh
stress this
man.
to the listening audience. Go to the doctor with your elders.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has to go with them because our
Yes.
elders are so trusting and they're not, as they get up in age. My father is 83 years of age right now. And I'm at his house every day I come here and spend a good portion of my time here now with him because he's up in age. We have some health issues that we're dealing with. But
Mm-hmm.
go to the doctor with your elder, your mother, your father, your friend, whomever, so you can be that eye, that ear. So when they try to prescribe those medications, make sure while they're being prescribed, if it's going to be a bad interaction between the current
Mm.
medications that they're taking and these new medications that they're taking, not as much information. You have to have as much help
Hmm.
inside those medication. Here's one of my medication books. I study the medications, right?
Wow.
Which is completely but go to the doctor. You have a mother, father, sister, brother, whomever. Go to be their eyes and their ears and study, 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 study why they're being
Mhm.
given because there will be side effects. No if, no
Mm.
ands, no buts. All right.
Wow.
Yes, I agree with
Wow.
that.
You know what? It's just to piggyback what you just said. I was talking to my auntie. both of them, her and my uncle, both of them retired, and he volunteered to take some of the church members to church. One of the church members there, he doesn't have any family in Houston, so he was always taking him to the doctor, but he never would go in. And my aunt said, "Well, I told him he need to go in and know what's going on because he in there by himself. The guy has cancer. He has bone cancer." And she said, and he don't want to take any treatment. But she told him, you need to go in there and you need to know what's going on so you can relate it to him if he don't have that understanding. So I agree with you 100% on that, Jearld. 100%.
Absolutely.
Wow. So a lot of stuff that you do, you make teas and you put these herbs together. So is this better than taking medication? I'm on blood pressure medication now, and I'm working on trying to get off of it. Can you go into some of the medication? Not medication, some of the herbal supplements you take. I mean, you have.
Well, what I tell folks, first of all, is that let's look at what we have in front of us that we can use before we even start spending money out. All right. Fasting, intermittent fasting or 3-day fast or fasting so that you can get the blood levels more balanced. If you're eating all the time, you don't know what to eat. You're condensing the food together, right? You're eating and it takes 10 hours per meal or so to digest. There's only 24 hours in a day. And so you have a overlap. You got 6 hours of undigested. And by the end of the week, you have probably about 50, 60 hours of food undigested in the lower colon. And that's just it.
And
right?
That's okay.
Yeah. And so that's when you start having disease. Disease comes from inflammation. So when the food can't get out of the body, it sits next to the your pancreas, your kidney, your liver. It sits down here, and the body never sleeps. The body never sleeps. So I always start out with, are we drinking enough real water? Let me be clear about that. Real water has an origin, right? If we're in Texas, so Ozarka comes from the Carrizo Wilcox Aquifer. It has no chemicals inside. But if it has chemicals inside, and if this is a city water, that means it went through a water treatment plant. It's been something over a long term, and you can study that. Where's my little thing? Give me 1 minute.
Wow. This brother is breaking it down to us deep.
I want to show you. You can get a print readout of the chemicals that are used in your water treatment system. Right? This is the one that comes out of Dallas. Dallas is the big papa around here. So they service all the smaller cities, DeSoto, Lancaster, everybody, Allen, not Allen. It would probably go in the richest. So this is all the chemicals. This whole list right here are the chemicals. There are absolutely no nutrients in this water. These are all chemicals in the water, the water treatment plant. So again, you thinking you drink good water when you say I'm drinking essential. Well, you have to look where does essential actually come from? Is it coming from a spring water? Is it a mountain water? Or is it just a souped up water that Coca-Cola, and that's what essentially is a Coca-Cola product, that Coca-Cola buys the water from Dallas, and then it runs it through their treatment system, and then it puts a white label on it. They rename it. So instead of a water, they'll say, this is essential. And you think you're getting some good stuff because the pH level will say, oh, it's 9.5 or 10, whatever they put on it. Well, the body only operates in the 7 range when it comes to a pH level. And pH only stands for potential hydrogen. That's all it stands for, potential. So that means it's not absolute. It's trying to get there. That's the 7, right? So when you start drinking these waters, that just look at the package, just look at what is all in that water. That with a natural spring water, it should have the location, what type of filtration, like a charcoal filtration system, and that's it. That's all it should say. But if it has a lot of other ingredients in it, and if you start reading 9.5, 10.5 pH level, the body does not operate like that. The
Okay,
whole
so
yes, ma'am.
that's what I wanted to ask you. So when you said like our body operates like in the 7.0, 7.5. So when you see the alkaline waters or you see the stores, the water stores, there's no
Right.
purpose of buying a 8.5 or 9.0 or a 10.0. Okay.
Oh wow.
Absolutely. You can get the
Wow.
same alkaline. We say alkaline.
Yeah.
Blackberries, blueberries, raspberries. Darker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
Hmm.
That's what they didn't finish the sentence out.
Mm.
Darker the berry, the more alkaline you get.
So just by
Right?
eating those fruit, just by
Yes, ma'am.
eating them.
Wow. Wow.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yep. Yes,
So,
ma'am.
so okay, so I just bought a new refrigerator, and it has a water, the water system inside the refrigerator. Even though I have a filter, because I've been drinking water out of that, no good. I'm glad you told me that.
I mean,
So I
help
got
you
to
out,
go.
right?
So I go back to my bottled water.
Well, even the bottled water. What you want to do in Atlanta, I will look up, and somebody knows there's going to be a natural spring in Atlanta. I mean, you could throw a seed in some of those rural areas in Atlanta. The ground is so fertile, right?
Uh-huh.
Right, and Georgia is farming territory, so there are aquifers there already, and there's probably places that you can go and get real water for free. You just have to
Oh
ask the
wow.
right question. Right,
Mm.
right,
Wow. Wow.
right.
So what,
I-
Al, what were you drinking? What type of water were you drinking?
They got this water out here. It's called Deer Park.
Deer Park.
Yeah, that's the name of the water. The water bottles I've been getting, and also I've been buying the water bottles that have Sam's brand. But
Mhm.
listening to you, I'm pretty sure Sam they just buying it from whatever city and just taking it through their system as well, right?
Yeah.
So that's not good either.
Sam's is white labeling it. When you put your name on something, it's
Yeah.
called white label. They're doing white label.
Yeah.
Grace, Walmart has a water brand. That's white label. That's when you just
Yeah.
buy from whomever the source is, and we're gonna put our label on it and make a few bucks off this thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me a little bit then when we talk about distilled water, purified drinking water, because I mean, you see a lot of people just simply drinking purified drinking water or distilled water.
Right.
Can you
Okay.
kind of elaborate on that?
So purified, right?
Mhm.
Purified Purex. Just say it like that. Purified Purex. Would you drink Purex? No, you wouldn't.
Mm.
A Purex is used to clean dirt out of your clothes, right? You want to get them whiter? Put some Purex in it. So
Mhm.
purified is the same process. The water goes through a purification process,
Mhm.
which strips it of, well, first of all, it's bad water anyway. To start with, it has to be recycled properly. It goes through a water treatment system.
Mhm.
So purified, when I see purified, that's tap water. Save your money. You might as well just go ahead to the
And
sink
drink
and
your
drink that.
faucet water.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Folks, y'all have a comment, just go ahead and type in your comment. Okay, so what about sparkling water?
Well,
like that?
when you say
Like-
sparkling
Uh-huh.
water, right? All they've done was add a fizz,
Mhm.
some type of carbonation to it.
Carbonation.
Yeah.
Right, and you can do that too. They got little machines right now. You seen them, Yvette? You see these little machines, you can put the little fizz to it, and the
Yeah.
fizz comes from, we're so used to drinking soda pops.
Yeah.
We don't take the natural approach. Water is not supposed to taste it like. Well, let me bring it back. The water from Hot Springs, Arkansas, tastes different than the water from Ozarka, which comes from the Carrizo-Wilcox Aquifer, only because of the sand sediments. The sand is different in Arkansas than it is in East Texas, but it's still great drinking water. It's just the sand. That's all it is. But now, if you start talking about plastics, water can't stay in plastic too long, because when the plastic heats up, right? Even my water, I tell folks, consume that water as soon as possible. I could sell it in glass, but now that drives the price up. So yeah, it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off. You know, can you afford to drink, pay $8 for a gallon of water? Because of the fuel and everything that's going through the roof. You know, the goal is to make it affordable, and so there has to be a great communication between myself and whoever's buying. I just got the water from Arkansas on last week. I put it in drums, 50-gallon water drums. I pumped it into that 1-gallon container last night. So you good to go. but don't put it in heat. Don't leave it in
Yeah,
heat.
yeah.
Keep it
Because I
aside.
remember one guy told me he had drank some water. He said he had drank some water. He said it tastes like plastic
Yeah,
when he drank the
right,
water. So I guess they had it sitting in the heat then for a long time.
right. It's
So when you
called
go to
seasoning.
so when you go to those convenience stores and they have those cases sitting outside the store, it would be wise about it.
Yeah, right,
Gotcha. Wow.
right.
Learn something new every day.
Learn something new every
Wow.
day.
So
Yeah.
you travel to get your water. Where do you go get it?
I go to
Arkansas?
Hot Springs, Arkansas. That's the best drinking water in the United States of America.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So how much do you come back with when you go get it? Like, talk about the process of you going to get it and bringing it back. What is the like? If a person, someone wanted to go and get it, can they just drive and get it, or is there
Yes,
a
ma'am.
certain license or something you have to have?
No, man. Arkansas, Hot Springs, Arkansas is in a federal park. Federal park. There are limitations on how you get the water, though.
Mhm.
Not how much, it's how you get it. When I go to Hot Springs, Arkansas, I have a dually truck. On the back end of my dually truck, I put maybe 8-9 barrels. I also have a 400-gallon tank. Sometimes I put that on a trailer and take that one. But you have to manually load the water by hand into the container. You can't put a hose on it. It's distributed through. So you just imagine a faucet that you press the button instead of twisting the knob. You press this button, the water releases, and you fill up your container, whether it be 1 gallon, 16 ounces, 5 gallons, whatever. So I have to manually load that water by hand because it's in a federal park.
Wow.
So what is it? Like a pump or something that they pump that you got to get out, or a lake, or what? I mean, where do you
No,
get
no,
this water? Or a spring?
the spring in Hot Springs, Arkansas, they have 1, 2, 3. They have 3 locations. It is set up like a what would it set up? Think of a water faucet. Think about 5 or 6 water faucets that's in a circle. Just a regular water faucet, the old school type, right? Old school type, and in a circle. Well, that's how it's kind of set up. But if you go on my Instagram page, which is Jearld Kombucha, JEWELS KOMBUCHA, you'll see how I have to load the water up, right?
Oh,
And it's
wow.
manual. You really have to manage, load each container. Each barrel holds 55 gallons. So I have to take a 5-gallon container of water, fill it up, and manually put it in each one of them every time.
So how often do you make that run to get the water?
I do it about every 2 weeks. Last year was every 2 weeks. Now, since the gas prices have gone up, I'm going once a month now. But when I originally started going to get the water, I was going to East Texas. Like I said, every state has their own aquifers. You just have to find where the aquifers are, and you probably can go get that water. If it's a good quality water, you'll know. You can go get that water for free. You just have to find out where to go get it at. So I originally started in East Texas going to get the water. The same aquifer, underground aquifer, that Ozarka pulls the water off of. Well, there's a few places down the road a little bit that you can go and get the same water for free.
So does that water taste different than the other water that we buy at the store and all that? Does it has a different taste to it?
Right, because it's fresh. It's not going to be if you drink that water all the time, Ozark all the time, you will notice a difference in the water. I'll put it to you like that. Because it's straight from Mother Nature. Straight. You can't get no fresher than that. Right.
Wow. So now you also make these teas, different type of teas. What does a lot of these teas do? I know a lot of teas like green tea and all that is good for certain things. What do your tea do?
Well, my teas, I do international trade to bring some of these teas in. I have a rooibos tea. This is one of my rooibos teas. The rooibos can only be grown in South Africa. So years ago, when I got into international trade, I started meeting folks, kept in contact with them, and whatever I could ship and bring over here and vice versa, because it's an exchange. We're building, a revenue source with each other. They need some, we need some. And so the rooibos tea is very unique because it's caffeine free. And so for people who are trying to get off of the coffee, rooibos comes into play. Rooibos also fights cancer, high blood pressure, helps you with gut issues. Rooibos is a very good tea. And then if you mix it with ginger, the rooibos tea that you can drink every day, that works with inflammation in the body. Rooibos also works with inflammation. So the goal is to get the inflammation out of the body so that the body can find a neutral, comfortable place. And then you will benefit both mentally and physically because you won't be all over the place.
So I smiled when you said if you want to get off the coffee, because we know some certain individual has to have coffee. So you might want to try that tea out.
Jearld, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I used to be in trucking, so that's coffee is a truck driver best friend, especially when you're tired.
Yeah,
I've been drinking coffee for so long, so many years that I can taste good coffee from bad coffee. I drink coffee black, no sugar. That's just straight. And believe it or not, I can be totally tired, exhausted. I drink a cup of coffee, I'm up, I'm woke.
Yeah.
Tea has not done that for me. I would love to get off the coffee if tea could do that for me because I work nights. So I need that extra energy. And I don't want to take any kind of energy drinks or none of that kind of stuff.
Right.
Will that tea be able to do that?
Well, first,
or is there a coffee that I can take that would do that?
Well, first you've done a good job.
Or tea.
You mean a tea?
You've done a good job by not adding the creamers and the sugars.
Yeah.
That's you're drinking the coffee in its natural state.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing. But your body has addicted itself to that caffeine. Because
yes, I'm addicted to it. I know I'm addicted to it.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing that he drinks it. It's just that the body now it has formed some sort of addiction to it.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, just like nicotine. You smoke a cigarette after, you got that timing thing, you got used to it. So, but yes, sir, there are mushroom coffees that will help with that. Mushroom. We're gonna talk about mushrooms in a little bit. But there are mushroom coffees that will help with that. But I always tell folks, whether it be with nicotine or caffeine, you have an alarm system or a clock inside your head that tells you that you need that coffee. You got your ritual, first thing in the morning, middle of the day, or whatever. Who knows? I don't know. Right? But you got a clock that you have to get under control. Right? And when you start getting the clock under control, then you'll find yourself easier to kind of, I would tell a person who smokes cigarettes, for instance, there are 20 cigarettes in a pack, right? When you buy the pack, tear up one of them immediately. Now you have 19. The next time you buy a pack, do the same thing until you start digressing on the number. You go 19, 18, 17, 16, coming on down, right? Each pack you get, you tear up a number of cigarettes. Your clock is starting to reset itself now because up here, if I have 20, I can smoke throughout the day.
20. Yeah.
Right. But now if I only have 10 now, the clock, I can only smoke every 2 or 3 hours as opposed to every 30 minutes.
You got to pace yourself.
You're pacing yourself out. And it's a visual aspect that you're literally tearing it up. Same with the coffee. If you drink a full cup, pour a little bit out. Till you start to get down, okay, I'm only doing a quarter of a cup, right? And that's how you just kind of wean yourself off of it. If you're doing 2 or 3 cups a day, well, go down, like I said, 3/4, half, 1/4, start weaning yourself off slowly, right? Because there's no reason trying to rush into something and then you get mad at yourself. I didn't make it, and you start putting yourself down and so on and so forth. I see a lot of people do that. No, just wean yourself off slowly and give yourself a checklist that you can. We both used to drive trucks, so we know we use the pre-trip when we get in that truck, right? We have to pre-trip. If there was something wrong, we had to notate it, call the dispatch, and let them know, hey, can't move the truck because X, Y. Do the same thing with your caffeine or your nicotine. Pre-trip. I bought a pack at 1 o'clock today. I tore up 2, or I tore up 3 on Thursday. All right. Next Thursday, you've gone through another pack or 2, whatever, and by then you should see noticeable difference in the numbers. You went from 20 to 17. A week later, you're down to maybe 11 or 12.
Wow.
You,
Well,
right?
what I did, I went from drinking a 20-ounce cup of coffee to this little small thing I got right here. It's real small.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was going to ask you. How much do you drink?
Well, I was drinking 20. I went from drinking 32 ounce to 20 ounce. Now I got this little small thing. I think this cup might be like maybe 10 ounce, maybe 10 or 16 ounce. Probably. No, it's less than 16 ounce because I tried to pour a 16 ounce in there and I had an overflow. So it's more than that. But I went from that to try to lessen it. But I mean, I went to work yesterday. I was tired. I was exhausted. And I made me some coffee, black like always. And all of a sudden, man, I'm like, hey, what's going on, y'all? It's rock and roll. But at first, when I drove in, I'm like, when I came to work, I'm like, what's up, you know? But that coffee woke me up, you know.
So, are you working a night job?
Yes, I have a night job. Yeah. So I work days and night. I have a business that I do during the day, and also I work at night. I work 4 days a week at night. I work at a hotel, and I'm doing security. So at nighttime, you know, when I'm real tired, I either drink my coffee I drink my coffee before I even start my shift. And then I'm real tired. I'll do a patrol around the hotel. Okay. But my thing is not getting to sleep anymore. I'm not getting my full 7 to 8 hours sleep. I'm getting 3 hours here, 2 hours there. I'm getting them in, you know, look. I'm not getting the full sleep.
You know? I got you. See, I took my pen out there, right?
Yeah.
I took my pen out. Time to go to work. Right. Time to go to work.
Okay.
So for yourself out, no, sir, you're not getting enough sleep. And if I know we're on this grind to do what we're trying to do, to make a living I know that. But you have to make a greater effort. It's called your pineal gland. Pineal. Pineal gland. That's what it's called. The pineal gland is right under the pituitary gland. All right. A gland releases, excretes something. Remember that. Like we got sweat glands. We run, we sweat. Glands, right? Under the arms, between our legs, wherever you sweat at, you sweat. You got 5 million pores on your body. It's designed to sweat. You sweat net toxins. The pineal gland, which is the pineal gland has 2 things it does: melanin and melatonin. Melatonin is the sleep. Melanin, right, is our color. This brown in it, that brown means something. We are very, very special people. We don't know how special we are, but I'm getting ready to tell you, if y'all don't mind. Okay?
Go ahead and give it to us.
Yeah. The one thing, our atoms, we are consistent of hydrogen. Let me go over here. We are consistent of hydrogen, oxygen,
it kind of froze
and
up.
nitrogen.
Okay, there you go.
It's okay. I'll go again. Hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen. Right? That's what the human body consists of. The African here, we are the only, I said, I'm gonna say it again, only, Miss Yvette, only we can walk outside and get the photosynthesis from the sunlight. Just like the trees get the photosynthesis and turns it into chlorophyll, we get the photosynthesis and it goes, it's a track that it goes through to get to the pineal gland, right? First it goes to the eyes, right? And then it hits the optic nerve on around to the it's called the supranucleus. I'll just be quick with it. Supranucleus, and it goes to this pineal gland, right? That's when we're outside getting enough sunlight, okay? That pineal gland deals with melanin, your skin color. Black eyes and black skin and brown eyes, that means something, all right? We are very, very special because we are the only humans that have the carbon in combination with a decalcified pineal gland. There's two different pineal glands. One is calcified. That means it's hard like a brick. It doesn't release these. Not naturally. It has to be forced out. That's why the melatonin pills that you see on the market that people are taking now for sleep, those are not really meant for black people. Right? We can get the melatonin activated just by going to get enough sunlight. It's in us already. Right? The melanin right here, that goes into our creativity side. That's why we're so creative as a people. We can take something out of nothing and create whatever you want out of it. That's how all these creations came to be in the United States of America, came through the hands of black folks. The enslaved people came up with the creations, except that the Caucasians, they had the copyrights. We're gonna take that cotton gin from you, and we're gonna put our name on it. We're gonna take the electricity, right? We're gonna take the electricity, Mr. Bell. But we're gonna put our name on it. But it's a black man that did that, right? So our creativity goes all the way back. We trace it back to the pyramids. This pineal gland is now under study, not only from NASA but across the nation. What is the pineal gland, and why are we the only one that have a decalcified pineal gland? Africans, we're the only one that got that, and that goes way back to Africa, where you can find the pineal gland is shaped like a pine cone. That's where the name came from. And when they started doing research, when I say they, historians and the medical society, they went into Egypt and they saw the pineal gland on the tombs. Well, wait a minute. When they started doing these studies on the African American veterans who were returning from Vietnam in the 1960s, they said these pineal glands on these African soldiers, and there's only one way you can test it. You have to be dead, because it's in the middle of your head, right? So you have to split the cranium open and go look at that pineal gland. That's the only way you can to see what it does. So with the African American soldiers that were coming back from Vietnam, they said these pineal glands on these guys, these black guys, are different than on these white guys and on these Mexican guys. It's different. What is it? That's when they decided and came up and acknowledged that the pineal gland is very unique to the African, and we get it through our receptors, our eyes, and it activates the pineal gland. Much like vitamin D is already in you. Mm-hmm. Sunlight activates the vitamin D. There are 4 stages of vitamin D in the body. It's already in you. You don't have to go take a pill for vitamin D. It's already there. You just have to use the sunlight, because we are sun people. S-U-N, S-O-N. So there was some wordsmithing done thousands of years ago that threw the curve on, so we don't know who we are. We are very, very, very special people. And let me give you before I close on that part. The hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen, along with the pineal gland, the melanin, right, and the melatonin, there's only one other place that has that combination, and that is the universe. When they send those ships up there and they bring back sand sediments, right, or soil sediments, and they've already confirmed it, you can do research on it, the only human on this earth that has the same DNA as those sand sediments are the Africans, period. Oh, so wow. When I say we are children of the universe, we are children of the universe, period. No other ethnic group can exist or will ever exist without the African. We are the DNA.
Wow.
So I wanted to ask you, when you talked about the vitamin D, when you said we go out in the sun and the sun activates it. So like, yes, if you go to case in point, like I'm on a vitamin D supplement because I was told my vitamin D was low or what have you. So when you say we go out into the sun and the sun actually activates it, how long would you have to stay out in the sun to get your vitamin D back the levels where it should be and say, okay, I don't need the supplement anymore?
30 to 40 minutes daily, 30 minutes to an hour daily. Early morning is better for you because we're used to air conditioning. We've been inside, so we've been conditioned out of nature. I was reared up in Louisiana. So part of that time, we never had air conditioning. It was So when we moved to the city, oh, air conditioning. But we were geared to be outside. The African, the African, um, our bodies are geared to be outside. That brown hair, the brown skin, those brown eyes, right? It's geared to be outside. So when I hear a person of color say, I'm vitamin D deficient, I'll say to them, you're not getting enough sunlight. When you go outside, I think I shared this with you before. When you go outside and you ground, take your shoes off, you stand next to that grass or the sand, take off as many clothes as you possibly can. So that sunlight can hit all of your body, right? Hit all of your body. There are trillions of vitamins that come from the sunlight that we are perfectly adapted to, right? But we stay inside most of the time. Schools teach inside. Most jobs are inside. So for us to get sunlight, when I hear a person say they're vitamin D deficient, I know you just haven't had enough sunlight, and you just slowly start taking on more and more sunlight to get your body, the vitamin D levels up. In the wintertime, same thing. It's called OMS, O-M-S. Even when the cloud covers the sun in the wintertime, it's cloudy day, it's still called OMS. And just like the plants and vegetation are receptors to the photosynthesis of the from the sun, they get what they need. For instance, you can grow collard greens and mustard greens in the wintertime, right? It's a shortened sun season, right? But they grow just fine, right? The temperature is balanced out for them because the root system of a collard green and a mustard green got to stay around 67 degrees or it burns the root. The temperature is perfect, right? About 67 degrees. You don't get any hotter, but it's getting the sunlight, the ohm, even on a cloudy day. It's called ohm. Ohm. And if you make that sound, if you make that sound right there, you are dialing into your chakras. You are dialing, that's your natural vibration. We hear that term vibration all the time, but the vibration starts from here. Adamum. Again, they did some wordplay. Adam stands for Adamum. Adam. That's how. And it sets the vibration inside the body. Sometimes you'll see folks that'll use the harmonic bowls. They're tapping.
Yeah, they see that.
Make that boom. They're dialing you in. They're dialing you in to your balance. They're trying to find your balance. Where's your balance at? We all have it, and
that's what that what Angela Bassett was doing in that movie. What Love Got to Do with It?
Absolutely.
She doing that. She was twirling that. Gotcha. Man, I tell you, learn something new every day.
So, I want to talk to you. Are you still going? You still going over that?
I want to go over one point.
Okay.
And then I got you. We all have the circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm, everybody. Circadian. CERCADIUM. Because circadian rhythm. I think I spelled it right. Okay. Circadian rhythm. We all have it. Our rhythm is based on the rising of the sun, the setting of the sun, the rising of the moon. Circadian rhythm. So, Brother Al, when you're not getting enough sleep, that throws your whole sleep pattern. Your whole body is thrown off because when the sun goes down, the earth naturally sleeps. That's why it produces morning dew. Morning dew. When you walk out on the grass is wet. That's morning dew. That's the oxygen and the water and everything's coming back. I need to put hydration on the earth for growth, for purification. I need to rain on it. But the circadian rhythm does so much. It controls your eating habits. It controls your sleep habits. It controls your sex drive. If your sex drive is out, your rhythm is out. Your rhythm is off, right? So it's a lot more to having sex than just getting, for men, getting an erection. For women, women are more emotional on this from here. It's more of a, right? It's not just like men. We atomically, we can just get hard. Can I use this? We can just get hard and be ready to go, right? With women, it's more of a slow boil type thing. It's remember, women produce the child, right? Women produce everything on this Mother Nature. Mother Nature takes time. Yes, that's the reason they named her Mother Nature now. Mother Nature takes time. So everything has to be in balance for the woman to engage. Now, everybody get hot every now and then. You can jump off into it, but there was a preparation before that even happened. I like you, you like me, and let's get together. That's okay. Let's do this real quick, right? That's that part. But when we're into a relationship and you become, that's again, we start the circadian rhythm. Are we on rhythm? Am I eating at the right part of the day? Am I consuming enough water? Am I getting enough sleep? The medications that I'm taking, is it throwing the circadian rhythm off? Is it throwing my digestive tract off? Yes, it is, right? Those are the side effects. The side effects impacts the pineal gland and the rhythm and the overall homeostasis of the body. So study circadian rhythm and pineal gland. Once you start to get the understanding how that thing works, Brother Al, I know you hustling and grinding and whatnot, but you got to get to sleep in, bro. You got to get
And
to
I'm
sleep
not
in.
getting it. I know I'm not getting it.
Right.
What question you was gonna ask me, Vet?
Well, when he kind of started tapping in onto, the body being off balance, and and when you were going into the men and the female, you posted a post the other day with some supplements. So I kind of wanted you to talk about those two supplements that you posted on the other day.
Yes, ma'am. Will do. If y'all can see me right here, hold on. Let me just pull it out here. Okay. One is called Mollet. Mollet is French for wet. Wet. W-E-T. The Mollet is for Mollet is for women. Right? Let me see. See? Mollet. That's it right there. I take the Mollet, which is an herb. Let me just give you the ingredients of it. My ingredients is red clover, maca root, and babwande. For this particular one right here, babwande. I bring them together. I have honey at the bottom end. So it takes a few days for it to sit and prepare itself. So once I make it blended, I put it in my refrigerator and I just leave her alone. She's fine. She's doing that thing. She's meshing together. Preparation. She's preparation. So what happens over time, men and women naturally start to decline in their 30s with the either the testosterone or their estrogen levels, right? And so when you start to see commercials dealing with beets, you've seen people eating beets and whatnot. They keep talking about nitric oxide. The nitric oxide is produced in the body already. When we itty bitty children, that's what makes children run all over the place. It's the nitric oxide that they have, and they have an abundance of. But as we get older, the nitric oxide starts to decline. So usually by the age of mid-30s, early 30s, the nitric oxide starts to naturally decline. Okay? Now, depending on the lifestyle. Now, if you're partying and not getting enough sleep and so on and so forth, your nitric oxide will start to plummet even quicker. That's why, if you notice, about 2 years ago, they used to run ads for Viagra and Cialis.
Yeah.
Okay, Viagra and Cialis. And they'd always say, research has shown that men from the age of 21 to age 40 have erectile dysfunction. They'll give you a percentage of it too. How many of them? Well, that means their nitric oxide and their testosterone levels are off. Now, to even be able to come up with those numbers, something had to be put in the equation to be studied. You just don't throw a number out there and say, okay, this many folks have erectile dysfunction. Well, where did they get the information from? Right? I'll give you one place. They got it from the Chesapeake Bay study. You can look that up. Chesapeake Bay study. They found out that the fish that were in the Chesapeake Bay, all of a sudden they started having an abundance of female fish. They're saying, where are all the male fish going to? Right? What's happening with them? Well, when they started studying the toxins inside of the water, when people get rid of their medications or urinate And well, it was going into the Chesapeake Bay,
Mm.
right? So those fish were eating whatever medications that people were, and so it's killing the testosterone levels in the male fish. So the male fish was switching and becoming more female. Estrogen levels went up. And
Oh
so
wow.
we'll take the Chesapeake Bay study. That's what it's called, the Chesapeake Bay study. So now, the same study was done on men. Why are all the young folks, right, who are eating a lot of processed foods, right? Processed foods. And once you get past when you're reading a label, let's just say this is a label right here. When you're reading a label, if you start getting, and it's supposed to be just an apple, it should be just an apple and maybe some water, whatever. That's it. But if you're reading a product and it's got a whole list of ingredients on the backside of it, you got some chemicals that you're putting inside your body that your body won't recognize, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's synthetic chemical. And so if the pancreas, the kidney, the liver won't recognize it, that simply means it's going to sit somewhere. Those are our filters. They don't know what to do with it, so it sits somewhere. So a side effect would be, well, for a man, well, you just can't get hard no more. If you're eating or you're drinking too much liquor, all right, you can't get hard on you. You've damaged your liver. You drank, now you're intoxicated. You've got toxic liver disease. Now what happens is that impacts the overall health of the body. So now once you're trying to get in the mood, you can't get in the mood. Mood ain't there no more. So now you got to go get Big Blue, which is Viagra. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Big Blue gonna put it on you. Yeah, you gonna get hard now, right? But Big Blue originally started out when they started out with Viagra was used for horses. It was used to make horses, and so it gives the horses. If you want a thoroughbred, with most thoroughbreds, expensive horses that you'll see at the Kentucky Derby, those horses get a date. For those horses to breed, they may run you $50,000,
Mm-hmm.
right? To bring my horse to breed with your horse, that's gonna run you 50 grand. There's a lot of money in breeding. Somebody got the idea. Well, if Viagra will work for horses, well, can we make it into a small pill and make it work for men folk?
Wow.
Yeah.
And there you go.
And there it started. Yeah. And so, but you don't even see the Cialis or Viagra commercials anymore because it started killing people, literally.
Oh,
killing people.
Wow.
Mm.
And so the state of Texas Attorney General then was Mr. Abbott. So Mr. Abbott said, we're gonna pull that off of the shelf. And that was happening. Mississippi was going through the nicotine lawsuit, which it all happened about the same time. And so Viagra does not run on commercials anymore, not public TV. It may run on cable, but it does not run on public TV anymore. And because it was killing people, and if people knew that stroke that person had was behind Viagra, can you imagine the lawsuits? That's why it was pulled off the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of people dying and didn't know why they said, oh, he just had a stroke. He was too old, or this situation right there with the liver. No, this was part of it. That Viagra. That was one of the underlying conditions for that stroke to take place. If it was a stroke, it could have been something, a heart attack. It could have been something else with that. But that's why it was taken off of the shelf. Unfortunately for women, they don't have as many medications. I'm gonna say unfortunate, but that is fortunate. Let's just find a natural way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if women are aging and men are aging, well, let's find out what works through herbs, through nutrition, through relaxation, through meditation. Let's find out what works to get the woman back into the mood where she enjoys having sex. Now, for women, it's an emotional thing, right? It's more emotional. That connection, that bonding that goes into place. And so making love does not always mean the act of having sex. Making love can be, let's go for a walk and hold hands. Let's sing to each other. A call in the middle of the day, send them some flowers. That's making love. And it's, again, likening to when the sun goes down, it's prepping the earth for sleep, for rest. That's on this side. And so with women, it's a different thing. For men, you have men that can have sex all the way up until the 80s and 90s. Now, if they're producing enough sperm count to have baby, that's another thing. But they know how to get the male penis hard. For women, it's a different thing. It's more emotional, more spiritual, and that's very, very special.
So your
Like,
supplements that you showed, then what does the supplement consist of? That package that you had in your hand a minute ago, and what is
Okay.
it designed to do for the
Right.
person that takes it?
So the red clover, each person has a different walk of life that they're doing. Yvette, your daily activity may be different from the next person, a person that you're training, right? So you take
Mhm.
all that in consideration. Red clover calms the body. Red
Mhm.
clover, right? That calms the body. Also calms it and raises the estrogen level,
Mhm.
right? If I really want to calm it more, I can do some ashwagandha or CBD, which is an herb itself, CBD, without the THC inside of it. Underneath that red clover, I have maca root that raises the female estrogen level, maca root. Now, just because the estrogen level is raised, that does not mean you have to have sex. All that means is I got a little bit more energy now. Because depending on the type of job you got, if you have a mental job that's mentally taxing, it stretches your body too. All right. You can sit at a desk, but if you got a job that's mentally taxing, it stresses your body out. And so,
Mhm.
to pull those stress levels down, let's find the herb for that: ashwagandha, red clover. We want to raise the estrogen level up. Then we're gonna add in maca root and babwandi that raises the estrogen levels up. Now, to get a again, a woman is very spiritual. Uh, there are a lot of moving components in the female anatomy. So uh, naturally, when a woman is younger, yeah, the vagina gets wetter. As the woman ages, the vagina may go through a dry spell. So let's figure out: is it the natural process? Is it foods that's being eaten? Is this the medications? What's happening? How did it happen? And then if it's a natural process, there's always lubricants. There's always lubricants, just long as she's in a pleasurable state when she has sex, right? Yeah, that's a good one.
that's why y'all women like all that foreplay. Man, we just like,
That's a good
hey.
thing. Yeah, we peanut butter. Hey, we peanut butter. Give me some peanut butter with that, and then we call it a day, right? That's the
Yeah,
wrong
yeah.
approach. Yeah, that's the wrong approach to making love long term. We don't know. Take time with it, because as we men get older as well, hopefully, hopefully, we should be transitioning out of chase every woman down the street to transition to let me find my mate that I vibe with. That's where that pineal gland again comes in. That's
Mm.
It's very special, the pineal gland and the circadian rhythm. And I share with people sometimes, when you see long-term relationships, people who've been together 20, 30, 40, 50 years without even talking to each other, they're communicating. They have
Yeah.
the person knows the vibe, the language, the heat that comes off that person. They're closely entwined. That's very special. If we look, if we're gonna look biblically, right? I try to relate that biblically. Adam was able to name the animals in the so-called Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden is really a place called Lake Victoria, southeast of Tanzania. That's that's where the area that they're describing, and that the Europeans are describing. Uh, so if I have any followers of my yacht who are on here, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, so when the
What
woman, go ahead,
well,
brother.
go ahead. No, I'm gonna say, so what was all that stuff you were showing on the table earlier? You had all that different stuff on the table. Is that some of the stuff like
Let me switch it around for you. Yeah. Can y'all see? Here we go.
yeah.
I'm gonna switch it around. Let me switch around.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So where I'm standing at right now, if everybody can see me, these lights mimic the sun. They mimic. So when somebody says that vitamin D deficient to me, I'm gonna turn that one off. I'm gonna turn that one off. All right. That one mimics the sun. This one mimics the sun. Watch. I can do a few tricks with this thing. This mimics the sun. All right. And so by being able to mimic the sun, if a person tells me that they're vitamin D deficient, I bring them. I just say, sit down, take your shoes off, because I'm gonna put them on a grounding mat. I'm gonna just do this for a minute, everybody. This is a grounding mat. This is a grounding mat right here. This grounding mat right here mimics the sand or grass. It gets the negative electricity out of the body. Now, if you're in front of a computer all the time, if you're in front of a TV all the time, that blue light that they're talking about, that's throwing off your pineal gland, that's throwing off the homeostasis of the body. So, yeah, these teas right here, all of them do a specific thing. So if someone tells me they need to detox, I might use a green tea. It's one of my green teas. If someone tells me, I'll go down here. These are my rooibos teas. These are my rooibos teas here. And they do a number of things as well as caffeine free. So I have to hear what it is that we're going through, and then I'll make a suggestion. But we'll actually study it too. I don't just prescribe something to somebody and I study. This is my hydrogen machine right here. I'm gonna turn that on. Can y'all see that? All right. See, it just went on. Like just went on right there. That's the hydrogen machine. So I'm adding extra hydrogen into the water that I bring from Hot Springs, Arkansas. That's what it's doing right there. What that means to me, that means that I'm getting more electricity into those cells. You got 37.2 trillion cells inside of the human body. Not all of them in your current state is getting electricity. What that does is we're gonna make sure you get electricity. The same jump that you get out of that caffeine, Brother Al, will be the same type of jump that you get from there. See, the body is set up on a negative and positive ion system, just like a battery on a car. You got a negative and a positive. And then you got cells inside of the battery. As a matter of fact, a car is set up much like old school. Now they got computers on these new ones, but the old school cars are set up pretty much like a car. The human body is set up like a car. When you think about intake oxygen, your nose or your throat, through your mouth, that's the carburetor, right? You think about exhaust pipe. Well, that's your anus, right? You think about what type of gas are you putting in the car? That's the water, the whatever you drink. You're putting something in there, but now is it doing the right thing to your body? With a car, you can't put oil inside of the gas tank. You'll screw up the whole vehicle. But with the human body, we put oils and everything else inside of our bodies. And that messes up the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is the cleansing system. It's supposed to clean the body out, the lymphatic system. But if we don't clean the lymphatic system out, then all we got is we've got stuff sitting in our body that's clogging up, all right, clogging up the fuel filter. So if the fuel filter, so if the fuel filter is clogged, the car won't move. All right. So I use a lot of analogies with the car because most of us have a car, and okay, you know what's wrong if you need to change your oil and your filters. And like I asked folks, well, how do you change your oil and your filters? Your pancreas, your kidney, your liver, those are your natural filters. How do you change your
analogy?
Right. How do you change the oil in your car, which is your blood? How do you clean that out? Go ahead.
Wow, man, we got some, man, learned a lot. I'm like brain overload, and it's like all the stuff I was doing, I thought I was doing something good, but really, I wasn't really touching the surface, So I'm glad to get educated, and I'm looking forward to getting more information in the future from you. Yvette, anything else before we get ready?
We'll have to have him back because it was just so much, and I'm sure there's so much more to talk about.
Yeah,
that we didn't touch on.
Yeah, definitely want to bring you back, and because this right here, man, it's so much. Like I said, I'm thinking, okay, I'm drinking water out of my brand new refrigerator. I'm getting some good, I'm getting some good water, and I ain't getting nothing but junk. It's yeah, but
Well,
and I was thinking about what you were saying. I don't mean to cut you off, but a lot of times my kids on the backyard they want to go outside in the grass with no shoes on. And I was like, put your shoes back on, put your shoes on. So actually, that's a good thing for them too. To have their shoes off when they go out there.
For you too, get out there with them.
Mm-hmm.
Get out there with them. Because you got to remember, energy is transferable. So that energy that your children have, it transfers over into you.
Yeah.
Right? It's transferable. So when you go to the beach, most people at the beach are very happy. You know, just because it's transferable. You got the energy from one person, and I got a message from one of the posts. They asked me, "Are you gonna go over some things with female sex drives and so on and so forth?" But if you want to do that next time, we can.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and cut it. We definitely want to get back into that because, like I said, man, it's so much information. I knew when I talked to you, and you was dropping so much knowledge. I'm like, this is gonna have to be a 2-part session. He has so much information. But I wanted people to really get this because a lot of things that we go to the store and we see all this stuff and they have organic or whatever. We think we're getting something good, but we don't even look at the label. We got to pay very, very attention. We got to look at that label. We got to read it. We got to understand it. We can't just go off, okay, they say it's organic. It's organic. It's a lot deeper than that. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. Coming on here and telling us this. How can people get at you and get some of your products? How can they get to you?
Well, they can follow me on Instagram, and I'm at Jearld, which is JEWELSKOMBUCHA. I don't ship. So, but if you're in the Grand Prairie area, I'm at the Grand Prairie Farmers Market. I've been there for a couple of years. I'm at the VA hospital in Dallas. I have a location inside there. I'm there 2 days out of the week, Monday and usually Friday. I'm there.
And you have all the products with you when you're there? The majority.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that's how they can get in contact with me. But I am looking to, I don't want to use the word franchise. What you guys are doing is fantastic. Al, you're in Atlanta. Yvette, you're down in Houston. I would love to just sit down. Let's talk. Let's see how we can get the products down there. I've got the contacts. Everything is in place. But we have to expand business and hire our own folks and get the next generation ready to eat healthier. And what's more encouraging, let's prepare them to learn how to run a business. And let's give them something to work with instead of just starting from scratch. Let's give them something to work with. So, I'm open for conversation.
Definitely. Well, we're going to definitely touch on that. And we definitely going to keep in touch with each other. Yes. And we definitely got to have you back on here again. And also, y'all can follow him on Instagram. What's your Instagram page?
Jearld Kombucha. And my name is Jearld Prelow. Jearld. Prelow is Prelow.
Definitely check him out on Instagram. He has a lot of content on there. I was checking it out. I'm like, man, look at this.
It's a lot,
a lot of stuff. Definitely. Yeah. All right, Yvette. How can they reach you? Get in touch with you.
I'm Facebook Jazzy_1Fitness and Instagram Jazzy_1Fitness IFBB Pro. Okay.
And also the Silver Fox Fitness Club. If you want to get one of these Silver Fox Fitness Club t-shirts right here, you go to Silver Fox Fitness. The Fox has 2X, not 1. So it's Silver Fox Fitness Club. The Fox with 2X, and you can go online and get the shirts and stuff like that.
Is that really red or orange that you're wearing?
It's red.
It's red.
It's
okay.
Red. Yeah, it's red.
It was orange.
Yeah, it's red. Okay. Not yet. I'm looking to get orange, but it's red right now. Of course, if I had an orange, you'll have it too.
I know. I was like, I don't have an orange one.
I'm had to get one out to Brother Jearld too. Have to get him one.
Oh yeah, yours. Okay, I see I see those color differences now. Okay, I see them now.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so folks, we'll be back next Thursday, And this was a great interview, man. I love this one. This is one at the top of the list right here. I love it. Appreciate it, brother Jearld. Jearld, appreciate it.
Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Jearld.
All right, folks. Till next time.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Good night.